Well, good afternoon from Kaplan Morrell to all our friends, families, colleagues, fellow workers all throughout Colorado. And today is Friday, and we're kind of wrapping up January. And what we're starting to get in the mail are W-2s, 1099s, because pretty soon we're going to have to file our income tax returns. And so typically we get questions from injured workers about, hey, should I be getting a 1099? Should I be getting a W-2 for what I've received under workers' compensation? Because they're concerned if they have to pay taxes on them. Similarly, we've been settling cases. A lot of cases get settled typically during the end of the year. And again, same question is what's going to happen with those benefits? Are they taxable? So the short answer is, in Colorado, your workers' compensation benefits are not taxed, immune from taxation. They are not considered income. Even compensation for lost wages is not considered income. Now, you don't get, under Colorado workers' compensation, 100% of your lost wages. You get 2/3 of your lost wages. And so typically for many workers, particularly in the mid to higher range, their take-home pay doesn't suffer. It doesn't take a 1/3 loss because they're not, again, having to pay payroll taxes, federal income taxes, state income taxes, etc. on their benefits. So none of your workers' compensation benefits are subject to federal or state taxation. You're not going to get a 1099, you're not going to get a W-2, and that income or that money is not considered income for taxation purposes, because theoretically it's kind of like you've suffered a loss and you're being compensated for that loss, and that isn't considered an income by the Internal Revenue Service. Workers' compensation benefits are also kind of protected in other interesting ways. For example, they are immune from any sort of liens or garnishments. And so for those of you who don't know what liens and garnishments are, that's great. For those of you who do know what liens and garnishments are, I'm sorry if you've been subject to one. But if somebody sues you, if you owe somebody money, for example, if you owe the IRS money, they're going to file what's called a lien or a garnishment. So a lien might be if you owe somebody money, they get a judgment against you, they're going to take a lien, a piece of paper, down to your bank, and they're going to serve it on your bank and say, hey, whatever money this person has in their accounts, you have to give it to me. Garnishment, somewhat similar, which is a garnishment would be if you owe somebody money, they have a judgment against you. Those are the two things that have to be present. They can send a notice to your employer or to somebody who owes you money and say, rather than paying this person, you need to pay me, and that's called a garnishment. Again, workers' compensation benefits are immune from almost all liens, almost all garnishments. And so oftentimes, if you're an injured worker and you are running behind on bills, if you are being pursued by creditors, it's really important that you keep your workers' compensation money separate and openly declared. Do not hide it. For the love of God, don't give it to somebody else to put in their name. You openly declare it as workers' compensation money, and if they try to garnish it or try to file a lien against it, all the courts will strike it down. It's a pain in the behind to do that, but they will strike it down for that. There is, however, one kind of lien that is recognized under the Workers' Compensation Act, and that is for the children, for child support, back due child support. If you owe back due child support, then workers' compensation can send up to half of your benefit to satisfy that back due child support. So, as we're talking about, closing out the year, getting tax papers and everything, I wanted to let everybody know about how workers' compensation benefits are not taxed. Liens and garnishments are not valid against workers' compensation benefits. They're completely protected, and in that way, workers are protected when they suffer an on-the-job injury. If you or anyone else you know has been injured on the job in Colorado, would you please happily recommend them to us. We would be happy to give them a free consultation and be able to explain to them their rights and their benefits if they're injured on the job. As always, have a great weekend, and thank you very much for tuning in.